But I understand no matter how you look at it, all what is this voice I'm doing? Hey internet, it's Jessica and welcome to Court of Crowd. I'd like to give a huge thank you to Placeholder Name Studio for sponsoring this video and allowing me to play the demo of their newest game. So this is actually a visual novel inspired by Ace Attorney, and I know a lot of you guys on my channel are a fan of that. We actually play as a princess named AGirlAndAGame, and she has led the crown court to resolve important disputes between nobility. So there's a unique belief system in this that I've heard, and from the description of it, this looks like it could be a lot of fun. So let's see how well I'll do in court. Probably bad, but you know. If you guys would like to learn about this game, please check the link in the description to learn more about Court of Crowns. I will say this music is very fancy. It sounds really nice, so this should be good. Start a new game. Two households, both alike in dignity, in fair Verona, where we lay our scene. From ancient grudge break into new mutiny, where civil blood makes civil hands unclean. Ooh. From forth the fatal loins of these two foes, a pair of star-crossed lovers take their lives. What the heck? Whose misadventure pious overthrows do with their death bury their parents' strife. Their fearful passage of their death marked love, and the continuance of their parents' rage. Which but their children's end naught could remove, is now the 2 hours traffic of our stage. To which if you will patient your ears attend, what we shall miss, with our toil shall strive to mend. William Shakespeare! Oh, it is William Shakespeare! That's kind of cool, that's opening. 1786 year in the new book, Irenoa, capital of I can't even say all these names, I am so sorry. Is this us? Everything will be fine. It's an important day, very important day. Everything will be fine for sure, for sure. You've been preparing this for your whole life since forever. You're ready. A bird? Besides, Father will watch over everything as always. So, what could go wrong? Oh, I didn't even notice the bird's just hanging out on her shoulder. It's not like I'm in danger of unleashing a civil war that will make a commonwealth collapse. The invaders overran the palace and everyone ended up in the guillotines making chomp chomp. You are prepared. Last day you read, wait, what did I read? Analysis, yes, analysis of commonwealth proceedings, a version of Ineratum for page 187. It only took me 3 hours to find the iritum. You are calm and composed. I repeat, calm and composed. You will have nothing to fear. You are calm and composed. Everything will be fine. Good! Ah! I should do like different voices, shall I not? I see you are calm and composed, Adela. Of course I'm calm and composed. Even despite your tactless disregard of knocking on my door in the private chambers of a noble lady, your majesty? A most sincere apology, your royal highness, although I must add the servants told me just an hour ago that they had finished tuning you up. But I understand no matter how you look at it, what is this voice I'm doing? Of all men, my future son-in-law has the right to see the body of the Almighty has bestowed you. Is this her dad? Father? And you also have a voice that could move mountains, but that's okay. It is essential that you are heard by everyone in the throne room. Because today you, Princess AGirlAndAGame, you are going to uphold the law and order of the Commonwealth. Okay, I have a question. Why are we doing it? Why is the dad on? Is this just like her new job? The descendants of two noble families died tragically. Both families are now demanding that the crown sways justice to their favor. I trust my succession to make the right decision that is most right for the kingdom. Yeah, but why me? I'm just starting, like I don't know anything. My name is AGirlAndAGame, and I am the rightful heir to the throne of the Commonwealth of I think it's Adelandria, and her name is probably Adela or Adela. It's one of those. According to our constitution, it is the duty of the crown to settle important disputes between noble families. As part of my preparations for the future assumption of throne, my father, King AGirlAndAGame, entrusted me with the settlement of one such dispute. Oh, so we're just being prepped. He had never done this before. I do not know why he decided to do it just now. Maybe he's dying. That's the only assumption I can make. I had been taught about such hearings since an early age, and observed my father conducting them. Still, I find it hard not to worry. This week, Roman de Monte and Juliana de Calpo died tragically in the guest house of our castle. The two families accuse each other of their deaths of their children. So it's, Romeo and Juliet. Our hateful neighbors are greedily observing our borders. That is why I must help my father and prevent bloodshed. Hence, it is up to me to decide who is to blame for this crime, and bear all political consequences of that decision. That's a lot of pressure. What if I make the wrong choice? Noble citizens of the Commonwealth, Adelandria, we declare the assembly of the royal court open. Well, there are slightly more viewers in the room than I had expected. Local nobility members, the town folks standing behind them. Is the crime at the palace so important to them? If out of stress I fall down the stairs, break my back, then I'll be spoon-fed for the rest of my life by servants who will encourage me to eat with the loud yum-yum. Maybe I'm not ready. Maybe it's better to have father settle this. Maybe it's not too late to back out. Maybe I'll pretend to faint. Ooh, can I be chaotic in this playthrough just to see like what happens? Let's pretend to faint. Good. If my fall looks natural, I'll be fine, and father will lift me up in his arms and... No. Wait, what do you mean no? Does he have mind powers? We have assembled today to hear the case of Lord de Capel and Lord de Monten. The said nobles are granted permission to appear before the throne. I guess fainting didn't work. I was hoping that we could. Will you assume your duty to help others to expense your well-being, or will you take care of yourself and the privileges that come with it? Do you avoid hardships, freedom, or pipe dream, or do you know what's good for others? Do you fight for survival in a battle royale, or do you cast a lot of life and moral glory? Or maybe you will find the answers elsewhere. You can say one thing or do another. These choices that follow will determine the truth. Only the later choice will influence the story and begin any trigger in the end. But you have to start somewhere, don't you? So basically all the choices I'm going to be making will affect this story. Like for instance, from learning the rules. Okay, there's a bald guy. Lord Will de Capel extends his warmest greetings to you, your majesty and your royal highness. Lord William de Monte extends an even warmer greeting. What a dick. Even warmer greeting to your majesty and your royal highness. They haven't even greeted each other yet, and there's already burning the lust for murder. Poor me. Nevertheless, it is true that two families have hated each other for years. Possibly, father's authority is the only thing that still keeps them in line, and that means... Oh, stop thinking about it. Focus, focus. Think of history. The accounts of the Commonwealth families by Lord de Neardo makes reference to the hostilities of the Capels and the de Montes as soon as in 1146. That's when it all started. They had a dispute similar to this one, with the hearing eventually inconclusive as to which family was responsible for the crime. You can learn so much from history. As your king, I bestow our deepest regrets to the recent deaths of our noble Juliana de Capel and noble Roman de Monten. As your princess, I also wish to express my sorrow for such a great tragedy. I haven't even had a chance to see them. The families arrived at the assembly, after which I was told to return to my studies. During the assembly, however, coming to my father, learning the way I was assisting our servants for any event, my influential promises, I was having fun with the young nobles. Accompanying father. I miss the talks with the nobles behind the scenes, but I don't care about such stuff. Anyway, I chose to accompany father and watch his actions closely. Sadly, I didn't get to meet the Lord's children that day. Yes, that's why I was doing a nobility assembly, right? Yup. Anyway, it's too late now to get acquainted with Roman and Juliana. Oh shit, which voice was I doing? Okay. Verily, the kind words of His Majesty, Her Royal Highness, do warm our despairing hearts. I agree with Lord de Capel. Odd, it didn't take like the custom-driven gesture towards the king. The lords are probably already regretting what the conflict between their families has led to. Lord de Capel and Lord de Monte, the crown stands ready to provide you with truth and justice in this event so tragic for both of you. However, we have decided that it should be Her Royal Highness Princess Adela de Rex who will be entrusted with the responsibility to leading today's assembly. We, King Lionel de Rex, hereby restrict our position in that advisor to the crown. Everyone in this room knew this would happen, yet they murmur in disbelief. Princess Adela de Rex, we grant you permission to sit on the throne. Yes, Your Majesty, thank you very much for this honor and trust placed in me. I'm gonna make bad choices! The throne has some advantages. For example, now I don't have to worry about collapsing under stress. Still, looking at the lords doesn't help at all. They remain silent, but clearly displeased. It's evident. They don't want to bow down to me. We don't have to exchange much. I reminded them of their dead children. Nobles are pain. They despise me. They look down on me. They're skeptical about the situation. I have to prove myself. I'm going full evil. My father would also be grieving in this situation. I should remember that my discomfort is nothing compared to what they feel. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking, right? Yeah. My father entrusted me with it in case so that I could prove myself and come out as successor. But with it, in any way, relieved of the pain and suffering ones. Honestly. Oh, I didn't get to... Order, please! I, Princess Adela de Rex, declare the crown is ready to hear from the assembled. Are both parties ready jointly to present the substance of the dispute? Pursuant to the hearing order, both parties are required to communicate facts and issues which they agree on. This may help to get the families the background of the dispute before I move on to other issues which the parties disagree. Naturally, Your Royal Highness. Lord de Monte and I are ready to present the facts. Only facts concerning this strategy. The facts we're unanimous about. If I change their voices midway, I'm sorry. I just forget which voice I'm doing. Cause of conflict. Oh my god, this is a whole ass mystery. Here we go. 3 weeks ago, I stayed with my family in the guest house next to the palace. I arrived in the proposed conversation of the assembly of nobility, Lord de Monte likewise. That earlier point, there was already a feud between your families. It is not the reason why we ordered you to reduce the numbers of your delegations. There's no casualties, but I don't know what would have happened if not for a quick intervention of the guards. From then on, everyone kept their eyes on both families. An unfortunate drunken altercation between in-laws. Your Majesty, ultimately that was the reason why we sent everyone away and remained only with our children. That is correct. The assembly was concluded a week ago, and we would have returned to our manners if not for the fact that I had Lord de Capel were stopped by urgent matters. Because of what we extended our stay in the capital. Indeed! It's exactly 4 nights ago the tragedy struck. At the time we were in the guest house with our servants and no one was else. This all happened late at night. I just happened to be with Lord de Capel on the stairs in the hall. There were also guardsmen patrolling the area. We requested that the plan of the premises to be drawn up for clarity. Okay. Yes, this is exactly what it looked like on the ground floor. Shortly after we entered the guest house, the guest room on the upper floor, opposite the stairs, is crucial for the case. Indeed, it was from that room that everybody's just slamming desks before the furious shriek of Mr. DeCapel rang out. It was faintly audible, but it sounded as if she was murdering someone in a frenzy. Oh. No! If it was as if she were murdered! Everyone's vetoing! It's not for you to decide. Pardon, Lord DeCapel. We are hereby handing the guest plans over to the crown. Okay. Fragment place. Okay, we got it. Moving on. We ran with the guards upstairs to the locked room. That is correct. We were there with the guards while the remaining servants were still gathering. We forced the door open and there we saw it. Our children dying inside. Our children. My daughter Juliana, my poor daughter, was lying on the bed, a dagger in her chest. The dagger belonged to nobody else but Roman de Monte. Her fragile life was fading before my eyes. Oh, Juliana! Okay, so she died with a dagger stuck in her chest, passed away on the bed upstairs of the guest house in front of her father. Roman was dying too. He was laying on the floor, foaming, coming out of his mouth. Poison. It was poison. Roman had been poisoned. I repeat, poison. The death was almost evaporated from the cup of wine that he had dropped. This is confirmed by the learned medicine man. He died of poison, passed away on the floor upstairs room of the guest house in front of his father. An overturned cup with poison and wine found next. Our children died before our eyes. What if it's just like how it is, like, you know, in the story? Romeo and Juliet just killed each other. This is exactly the same. The conviction in both parties of their own innocence. The exact same thing happened during the hearing that split their families. The exact same thing. The case was never solved. Did father overlook this? The fact that this was the same problem? Surely he must have received reports on the investigation process. He had to know. We heard about the crime. At the same time, the news reached the palace within a few minutes. I was in the library at the time, having a dispute with father about a book I was in the middle of reading. The book kept me focused and so much I lost track of time. Was Defenders of Women, King Joan, Noble Virtues, Liberty, yada yada. We're gonna go with this one. In the old days, King Joan had many knights ready to give their lives for her. It must have been wonderful to rule in such a way as to be loved by so many great men. It's a book that got me interested, right? Yep. So I like that they ask you, are you sure you want to answer this? Because a lot of visual novels where they have like choice-based stuff, they kind of like don't let you backtrack. You kind of have to pick your final answer and that's it. Okay. Adela's beliefs are eccentric, romantic, and elitist. Enough about me. I have case to run. But we fully agree on one thing. It was a violent murder. Indeed, I dare say more. Juliana DeCapel poisoned my son, my Roman. Silence, you wormless tongue. It was your son who murdered my daughter, pierced her delicate heart with a sharp dagger. Delicate heart? Delicate heart? The black heart of the evil poisoner slain by an act of rifle vendetta? Rifle? The brutal murder of a poisoner who caught red-handed to disgrace himself with suicide to escape punishment? Noble gentlemen. My apologies, Lord de Monte. The time for judgment is yet to come. Indeed it is. The essence of the whole argument is whose child is to blame for this tragedy. What if it's both? I don't know. That's an option. Like, both of them could do it. Certainly not my poor Juliana. She would not hurt a fly. I knew Miss DeCapel, an unusually delicate, young and charming lady. Anyone who knew Rome will tell you that he was a likable, charming, and sensitive young man. I concur. He was actually a nice man. I should have expected this. It's not like just the lords are biased in this room. Nobles love making their opinions known wide. Members of this class are convicted as they know everything. Tragedies and crimes divide up the whole noble class and weaken the kingdom. Let's just hope I manage to set example to restore dignity to the assembly. Let me once again express my deepest condolences. It is an immense tragedy when the parents have to bury their own child. The crown thanks the lords for presenting the semblance of the dispute. But father, can we ever make them reconcile with each of their beliefs? He is telling the truth and nothing but the truth? You're preparing yourself to make responsible and difficult decisions, aren't you? In conclusion, the two lords met an hour before midnight in the hall on the stairs. The guards at the entrance confirmed it. But proceeding further, Princess Adela directs you to take a closer look at the circumstances of the tragedy. I presume that the Lord Nobles now intend to call the captain of the guard as a witness. Are they not? Actually, no. We both agree the guardsman Eric Smith is best qualified to explain the matter. Wait, why one guy? That is correct. Smith's competence was also confirmed by the latest captain of the guard. Furthermore, Eric Smith was the last person to see her children before the tragedy. Safe and sound, that is. If that is your will, so be it. Let Guardsman Eric Smith stand before the throne. Interesting. Okay. This dude is sweating profusely. My greatest regards to your majesty and your royal highness. We greet you too, Guardsman Smith. I'm very much greeted. I mean privileged. Very honored. What are you staring at like a magpie? Know your place, dimwit. What? Yeah, right. So, I mean, yes, my lord. Just say what you have to say already. Why does it feel like he's being paid off? Like they both agreed to get this guard. Here's my theory right now. Both parents killed their children because they were troublemakers. And then now they're using this guard who's like freaking out to like cover the tracks. So why would they both agree on one guy? And he's not the captain of the guardsmen. That's weird. Of course, my lord. Gulp, they don't seem to like him. Guardsman Smith is an ordinary townsman who has been part of the guards for half a year, and a company he is the only one without title, Della. So far, no one has complained about him. I think I've seen every guard once or twice from the palace window while he was goofing around off duty with the other guards, chanting silly songs, life and soul of the party. I never talked to him. Why should I talk to the servants anyway? Servants is to serve. That is their purpose. Jesus! Grandma has saying over and over since Mom's death that the servants neglect the hygiene and spread disease, and that's why Mom died. Jesus Christ! But it is to be understood, grandfather died before I was born. Then she lost her own daughter. That is why she cares so much about me now. Your Royal Highness, I will try to explain everything as best I can. Only as much as your competence allows, that is. I report, I was doing my night patrol on the ground floor when I spotted two young people. Focus on what happened when my daughter's screams rang out. Right. I was near the vicinity of the two lords when suddenly a shout rang out. When we ran upstairs, the servants that happened to be nearby came running in, and they were all guarding the room. Not even a mouse could slip through. Not even a mouse, because apart from the windows, there was no other way down the stairs. And the stairs stood, and I, on duty, watchful as a falcon. Yes, like an eagle, falcon, divine hero, and so on. So you and other servants were there. The stairs were guarded from the moment of the scream. If no one could escape the scene of the crime, the perpetrator must have been one of the lords, one of the children, one of the servants, someone from the outside the palace. Well, I mean, they're saying that the servants were guarding the door so that no one can get in or out. Servants have to obey. So it would have to be one of the lords, to be honest with you, because like, yeah, you could blame it on the servants, but why would they have to guard something? Somebody told them to do it. Or one of the children, because they're one of, you know, they're in there. But I still feel like it's the lords. I'm gonna go with this. I agree. I'm getting all confused out of this stress, but wait, if no one can escape, then there is no other option. One of the children must have been the perpetrator, which means I'll have to tell the fathers that his child is a murderer. Poor man. How am I gonna tell him that? It's not long before news of what happened reached us in the Royal Highness. The same information was received by the captain of the guards. Is that correct? Your Majesty, I asked... That is correct, Your Majesty. I asked that one of the servants myself could fetch the captain. He was in the canteen at the time, winning his game of cards. I understand that nobody should have escaped down the stairs under watch, but can you be sure that nobody was hiding upstairs? I think not, Your Royal Highness. Upon Captain's arrival, the guards searched the entire floor and no one else was found. Like I said, are you sure it's not a lord? Because I know the children are both in there, but like, how do you know it's not one of the lords? Just saying. No one was supposed to be upstairs that night. All the guests left early. Only the lords with their children were left, right? Yes. Their designated chambers were on the ground floor. And the windows. What about the windows? Could a potential perpetrator use them? We have been wondering about that too, Your Royal Highness. However, the windows in the rooms and in the corridors could not be closed from the outside. And they were closed. A murderer would not have some sort of which to exit this way. There is no point in considering this route. Indeed, the circumstances dismiss the possibility of a third person being involved. How am I supposed to find the foothold? No point to proceed from. Either child could be the killer. Any of them could have brought the bottle. In such a situation, the conclusions are the following. Maiden Juliana was mortally wounded and by Master Roman's dagger, and Master Roman himself was poisoned. This all happened while they were both alone behind closed doors. With your permission, Your Majesty, my son's dagger proves nothing. Every nobleman in the Commonwealth always carries a weapon by his side, constantly. Dagger pierced Juliana's heart, property of Roman de Monte, carried according to custom by noblemen of the Commonwealth. Adela, please keep in mind that the issues we are addressing now, new information become part of your knowledge. Your relevant knowledge involves such matters as circumstances of Juliana and Roman's death. If you wish to recall details of knowledge gathered, so you can always use the knowledge button. Okay, let's check it out. Oh, okay, cool. So we have all the clues that we got, which is good. And then all the people. Oh, this is Juliana. Okay, so we got that. While the presence of the dagger in the room is explained, the cup with the poison remains a mystery. Has the type of poison been determined? It is the Lawrence poison, Your Majesty. Learned doctor said it was just a small, dissolved dose, enough for the victim to expire. It only takes a minute or two. Was it possible to determine how the wine in the cup was poisoned? Yes, Your Royal Highness. We found the broken bottle with the poison traces on the floor, between victims. So, if that's the case, if she died first from the dagger, and you're saying he has like a minute or two to live, he must have died afterwards, I guess. We agree that the person who poisoned the wine must have used this bottle. Okay. Which the bottle laying broken between the victims, we have no way of telling who used it. We understand that the wine in the cup came from the bottle in the guest room cupboard. Was there another cup of wine at the site of death of the Lord's progenitor? Lord's what? The offspring, you dimwit! Yes, well, Your Majesty, there was a partially empty bottle and a cup filled with wine on the table. Okay. There has been quite a number of evidence, and the captain and I prepared the plans at the scene. Okay, good. Some parts of knowledge are linked to additional documents, Adela. You can view them through the detailed buttons. But Father, nothing fits together here. There is no connection point. Literally, anything could have happened here. Right. Absolutely anything could have happened. It is always a problem for you that you can settle this matter any possible way. But there's no resolution here. The truth cannot be determined. Determine the truth. You can always do that. You're the king. You're the king, after all. And now, does Princess Derex have any questions about the crime scene? One thing that puzzles me. One thing for the crime scene is unclear that this issue hasn't been brought up so far. Okay. Oh, do I get to pick? The door was forced open, meaning it was locked. Where did the victims get the key? Hi, yes, this is an interesting case, Your Royal Highness. It was probably one of the master keys. Most likely the one most of the crime scene. We found each one by our dead children. 2 master keys. Each of the victims had their own? This is odd. Each of the servants in the guest house have their own master key. It can open any door in the building. Exactly, Your Majesty. The deceased received the keys from the servants. If these idiots minded their procedures, our children would be alive. Together with the captain, we determined that the identities of the spy servants, they both claimed that it never occurred to them what breaking the rules could lead to. Are they gonna punish the servants now? Okay. So the servants gave to them. We plan to request that they be called as a witness. Clever. But, Your Majesty, let us put aside the question of all the children is the killer. Instead, let us assume that one of them planned to kill the other and figured out that they were going to use it for a purpose. If it was a plan, I'd say poison. Poison, Your Majesty. Exactly. Otherwise, it would be not in the room. We already know the Master de Monte was carrying a weapon that befits a nobleman, and Maiden de Capel's scream proved that the dagger was not a silent weapon. Poison is the proof of planned crime. On the other hand, oh shit, I didn't read the rest of that. Yes, with the last breath, Juliana made sure we found out about the crime. Her screaming does not prove her innocence. Noble lords, did we not say that we were putting aside for a moment the question of the identity of the culprit? Beware that your king takes all circumstances into account. Also that the murder could be any of the victims. Wasn't it, though, this in the substance of elimination of possibilities that you always arrive at the truth? Did I reach the truth, or was I just being persuasive? And if I did arrive at the truth, was I not able to convince anybody of it? Would it still be true? So much for the truth. Princess directs the Council of the Crown. I suggest that when you now reflect on the killer's plans. Plans? They certainly did not want anyone to scream, nor anyone to, like of the guards, for instance, to notice her presence quietly and secretly. That is how they wanted to administer the poison for the victim. If everything went their way, I keep pressing the button by accident. I'm so sorry. The lords would have never been altered. Without this, the perpetrator could have easily left the upper floor with the victim down in the room. Exactly. If Master de Monten was a perpetrator, he would have not left the dagger at the scene, where if he was the victim, the dagger would stay by his side. But what about the other items? What scene did the perpetrator want to construct to divert suspicion? Which two items would they have left? Okay, well, both master keys for sure, because that's kind of weird. Perpetrator would have left behind both master keys, Your Majesty. It would help them very much, because they could not shut the doors afterwards? Do not think that makes sense, Princess directs. Let us reflect on this again. Oh. Wait, did they say the wine was not poison? Hang on. Is that what they said? Leaving one key in the poison will help the perpetrator, Your Majesty. Exactly so, Princess directs. The perpetrator wanted to set up a particular scene. With a single key, everything would look like the person locked themselves in the room from the inside. And if we found the poison, it would add up all to a suicide scene. So the perpetrator wanted to convince everyone that the victim locked themselves in the room and took their own life. How despicable! If the killer wanted to make it look like a suicide, no one would be surprised that the victim chose to empty the room. We do not know how the killer persuaded the victim to, but the victim did obtain a key to meet them in the empty room. We cannot deny the facts. However, the killer also had a key. In this situation, after the murderer, one of the children may have left the victim with their own key and a vial of poison and the suicide scene. On checking the keys, we have discovered of which its servants missed their own ones. The perpetrator would have returned the other one, assuming that the one that they lent would be not squeal a word in fear of their head. Your Majesty, that sounds outright diabolical. If the killer's plan had succeeded, we would never discover the truth. What depravity to despise and undertake such a plan! This is horrible! I shudder to even think about it. Order, please! We have aroused too much excitement. As I understand it, apart from the guardsman Smith, no one else was aware of the fact that there were young nobles had gone upstairs? No, Your Royal Highness. We both thought our children were in the rooms. His Majesty's conclusions concede that with both their conclusions after 3 days of investigation. Our children obtained the master key on their own to secretly meet upstairs in the room. However, one of them brought a vial of poison to the meeting. Yes, we do agree on that. Both of us, we do, however, differ in our beliefs of which children brought the poison. Oh! Okay. And what actually happened behind closed doors? I presume, noble lords, that the origin of the vial of poison has not been determined. Well, the well-off have many opportunities to acquire poison. The perpetrators might have manufactured themselves. So the murderer had planned to conceal the crime, but they oversaw a witness who saw a couple coming up the stairs? I could not have been put a better guardsman. There's an awful lot of tension between the lords and Eric. I believe that the princes of the Commonwealth of Atlandria has sufficient inquiry into the substance of the case that the lords have placed under her judgment. The young nobles died under ambiguous circumstances. Fathers accusing each other's children are asking the crown for help in settling this case. Houses de Campbell and de Monte boast centuries-old traditions and have more than once proven their loyalty to the crown. The crown remembers and never forgets. It is said that there is a mysterious tragedy seems to be fruits of your similarly centuries-old feud. Eternal disputes almost doomed our Commonwealth once before, and among us, the children and grandchildren of those who died defending her. There have been incidents, not murders. This is the first time such an event has happened. Father took the throne. Noble families notoriously provoking duels, but Father managed to subdue them, mostly. Nevertheless, their hatred endure. It makes me wonder if Roman and Juliana, in accordance, it makes me wonder if they did it themselves together. In accordance with the law and reason, the case was referred to the crown, which also feels a shared responsibility since the tragedy occurred during the hospitality we have provided. Your cause, noble gentlemen, is for the memory of the good named members of the illustrious family, sorry. And we discover what really happened behind closed doors. We will now repeat a woeful independent process that will begin with feud that continues to this day. That's really a lot to promise on my behalf. If I am not mistaken, Guardsman Smith outlined the details of the incident. The Crown now wants to hear each Lord's individual views on the matter. Actually, let the boy first tell the story of how he saw our children coming upstairs. Yes, it is, after all, very important. What? But, my noble lords, further testimony may follow when the Crown becomes aware of the issue upon which you disagree. Let us then follow the procedure in place. Eventually, you both will come to settle a dispute over the death of your children, did you not? Throughout the experience of life, your Royal Highness believes that such a matter can simply be unraveled by examining it with magnifying glass? Precisely! There are more procedures ignored insight into the behavior of the participants of the event. How can you think about procedures instead of feelings? What closed-mindedness! Are they blaming me now? What can conceive of the face of inconceivable can see the truth of their own eye. I think I once met those chanting gentlemen at the courts of the Decaples and Demontins. Father, what's going on here? You should not deny the public demand for those who are yet to discredit themselves. And so be, noble lords. Guard, please tell us what you saw. Yes, your Royal Highness. I don't get it. We can interrogate the guardsmen and the rest of the witnesses later after reviewing the Lord's private insight on the case, without all this theatrics. But Lords voice their anger, and still, it's pure common bitterness, as if there's no longer belief that the search of the truth had any meaning or significance. See, that's what I'm telling you, it's one of them, it's not the kids. I'm telling you right now, it's one of the dads. As if it didn't matter anymore. Okay, testimony, night patrol. I began my night patrol in the guest house about 15 minutes before I heard the scream. As I walked down the corridor towards the stairs, I saw the maiden Decapel and Master de Monton heading upstairs. I saw the couple for a brief moment. They were turned away, so they probably did not notice me at all. Well, I continued my patrol when I came back, and they were gone. In the place stood a noble lord. Suddenly, there was shouts of maiden Decapel. So wait, did they look happy or something? Like, you know what I mean? Did they have like a certain way they were interacting with each other when they walked up there? Adela, in a situation like this, the litigants give away to which you're hearing. Father, watch enough of your trials to know what to do now. I can use the arrows to change parts of the testimony. I can also ask questions to witness in the query button. This allows me to get information I need from the witnesses. And beyond that, Adela? And beyond that, I can use a demonstration button to show an inconsistency between the pieces of knowledge and pieces of testimony. Only the guardsmen certify untruth? I must make no mistake or I'll lose my authority. Oh my god, this is so much pressure! This may be the case. This is why I'm going to give you a hint. Think about why the lords actually care so much about this particular testimony. If you need another one, use the council button. Testimony that the guardsmen saw the young couple before their deaths and did nothing. Alright, interrogation time. I do like these like title cards. I think they're cool. Oh god, inquire. And there's another button over here. Council. Okay, hang on. I began my night patrol at the guest house 15 minutes before I heard the scream. Okay. Well, I continued my patrol. When I came back, they were gone. In the place stood a noble lord. Suddenly there was a shout. Okay, let me inquire. You just resumed your patrol like nothing happened? Yes, this is my duty after all. I've been patrolling the ground floor. That's weird. It's clearly nervous during the question. Should I keep digging? No, I'm gonna keep digging. Guardsman Eric Smith, everyone here is aware that you had the opportunity to react in some way in the presence of the young couple, given the late hour, for instance. There's a good chance that if you had done so, no one would have died. Why did you ignore the situation? I blame myself for not having reacted then, Your Royal Highness, but this tragedy, it was hard to predict. Seeing your young nobles together is not a reason to be alarmed. I saw nothing wrong with it, or threatening, or feud-like. Okay, so the couples didn't have any like hostility while going to the room. If you say so, guardsman. We understand that you were adding this statement to your testimony, correct? Adela, during the hearing, the parties are allowed to interfere. In this situation, your decision did not affect the course of the events. At most, it has changed the way the lords are perceiving you now. Keep that in mind. They will not remember that, really. I just wanted to get to the bottom of this! The reason why the lords care about these testimonies. Guardsmen, continue your statement, please. Okay, Maiden de Capo went upstairs and Master de Monte. I saw nothing wrong with it, or threatening, or feud-like. Okay. I saw the couple for a brief moment. They were turned away, so they did not notice me at all. Father, I don't know what to do! The lords are hostile to each other, but they share a common goal. Despite his opportunity to do so, the guardsmen did not prevent the deaths of their children. Tormenting the poor men won't really accomplish anything, despite the obvious error. That's why it's best for you to demonstrate it before the lords, just like that. Just take the initiative. Is that enough for you to need for it? Yeah, do you need additional advice? Yeah, give me some so we can learn more. I'm not quite sure how to demonstrate this, Father. Keep in mind, it is commonly known the two families share mutual resentment. To say that there is nothing threatening about the sense of the heirs or hateful families together is nonsense. To demonstrate inconsistency, I should just demonstrate a piece of knowledge to the contradicting proofs of the... Okay. So I should give some knowledge to it? Okay, so the scream, her getting stabbed. Guardsman Smith. I like how dramatic this is. What was I saying? Adela, focus. So wait, if I get a wrong answer, did you see the bar at the corner goes down? Alright. That bar. So I guess that's how, like, I have the audience and everything. Oh my god. Alright, so this guy was saying there's nothing feud-like between the families. But the families itself do feud. But I don't know about the couple. Like, they're together, so I don't know. Let's do this. Demonstrate.
Incorrect.
Guardsman Eric. Yes, I know the two families are at odds with each other, Your Royal Highness. Good. I should have said something to catch their attention. Maybe the murderer would have given up then. But I saw two young nobles from feuding families. I did not see, like, a reason to despair, but hope. Excuse me? The Cabos and Demacia families are loyal to the crown, but in conflict with each other, true. They fight and sometimes kill one another. I believe with all my heart that if their disputes were to finally end, the Commonwealth would gain a lot. Therefore, I saw the young two people together, and I took it as testimony to their reconciliation approaching like a rising sun. Because after all, the middle of the night and two young people, it just kind of comes into mind, right? What? What do you mean? I didn't want to spoil the secret romance of a couple in love. A bit crass but accurate observation. It actually looks like a scene of suspenseful romance between the rebellious yet well-born couple. That was a logical observation, guardsman. Oh, okay. Are you implying that we raised our children to sin and having extramarital affairs? No, I just thought that Lord de Capo... You actually thought nobles would make, like, a common rabble? Our children died because of you? Oh. It was your duty to not let this tragedy happen. It was not happen if you had reacted. If you had let us all down, you should pay the ultimate price for it. Hang on, he didn't kill them though. You can't just do that. You're with. Oh wait, what's happening? Wait, are they killing him? What's going on? If they claim his head after just one, even if unfortunate remark, then how will I react if they suggest that one of their children could be the murderer? Defense have taken misfortune through a predictable turn. Predictable father? Something like this has never occurred during your hearings. This should not have taken place. Not in the throne room, not before the king, not before... You know what? That actually happened. I was not able to successfully prevent such a turn at the time you were learning to walk. I suppose your noble teachers and books authors failed to prepare you for that pettiness of the noble class. The guardsman is a fool. A fool? He's telling the truth, I'd say. God knows what these upper-class twits are up to when the candles go out. The temperature of this mood slowly spreads to our audience as well. We are in the midst of a heated dispute. People tend to lose their temper in these situations. Get it under control. But the guardsman is not defending himself. The poor man is a dutiful one. Not being part of the nobility, he is in a lost position anyway. You may start by pointing out the lords that their installs aren't necessary. You do this by clicking on their appropriate lines. Remember that your voice bar must be full. Oh! Be careful not to question the legitimate arguments in this way. You will undermine your own authority by doing so. Also aware that chaos bar at the bottom of the screen. If it fills up, you start to lose authority. Oh my god, there's so many elements to this game! Restore order, bringing utter chaos under control? Clash of the... Oh my god! That's inappropriate. You should have said something. Okay, that one's okay. You should have said something. You fool, you murderer. Oh, shit! I only can pick one. You're pathetic. No, this one. No. Should have said something to our children. I agree with that one. No. Inappropriate. This is so I don't know what to do. Am I doing it wrong? Okay, there we go. I got it. Noble lords, I understand your pain and suffering, but such behavior is unbecoming of you. So insulting me is inappropriate? Why does this guy keep opening his mouth? That does not change the fact that you should have said something. You think you can just get away with it? Our children are dead because of you. I'm very sorry, I really am, and with all due respect, looks like our lords are changing their strategy. They haven't been fully brought to order, though, and they are starting to look like quarrelsome fools. Typical father. That he despises the noble class is one thing, but here, objectively speaking, he is right. These expenses of theirs are pathetic. They will do flip arguments, but that doesn't mean that they will be right. There is a good chance that their presence are agitated state. They will contradict themselves. Use it. Demonstrate the contradiction with the words of the Lord and use the cursor to hold down the line and memorize it. And then click another line to contradict the former one. Oh my god, like, my reaction time is slow, dude. I don't know how I'm gonna do this. I understand. I already corrected the Lords once. What is it to stop me from doing it again? Can I do it again, though? Dude, Jesus. Alright, here we go again. Would have stuck on another occasion. Wait, should have said something. This one for sure. Wait, click on the contradictory line. I got it. I think I got it. I think. My bar's so low. This is bad. Forgive me, noble lords, but I do not understand. Should the guards speak to the nobleman, or is that too much of an insolence? Please make up your minds, because I fail to comprehend your position. I will not dare speak to a nobleman unprompted. Right, they're not allowed to, right? Did you have to silence him like that? At least I did something. What about you? You of all people dare blame me now?
Silence.
Your idle bickering has gone too far long. We call it order, noble lords. Yo, I can't do this. I would be terrible as a queen. We humbly apologize, Your Majesty, Your Royal Highness, for our behavior. Because of our grief and loss. Yes, because of grief and loss. We let our emotions get the best of us. We do not like that our time is wasted on scapegoating. The crown is not interested in the perpetrator. However, we do not deny the magnitude of losses that both lords have suffered, and we understand the bitterness. Your apologies have been accepted. But the lords are telling the truth. I had a chance to prevent what happened. Nobody can turn back time, guardsmen. All that remains is that we All that remains is to live with our decisions. So we all make mistakes. For example, Your Majesty could have calmed the lords earlier. Are you undermining me, boy? You impudent! This man, a simple birth and the bland of the face, by the way, has publicly criticized the words of his king? Wow. Our deepest apologies, Guardsman Smith, for not coming to your defense sooner. But why? Why does Father apologize to the lower board? The atrocity will forever approach him for it. Father seems to have been bitten too much of this in a new continent and strange laws, where commoners and hoodlums make do with better board, and he's considered normal. Yo, this girl is, I think I made her petty though, like very like judgmental because of the choices I made earlier. But why didn't he act earlier? He wanted me to do the crown's duty regardless of the consequences. You may leave, Eric Smith. Naturally, Your Royal Highness, I wish this case ends well for everyone. We should call the servants who have the keys. Oh, right. They talked to our kids before the whole situation. No. What? Your Royal Highness, it's remarkably relevant for the case to listen to them. I am confident that our audience is looking forward to hearing your explanation and insight into the course of the mysterious crime, my lords. Why do you keep us waiting so long to learn about this intriguing crime? How long do the lords going to hide their insight from us? May I introduce you to these loud gentlemen at the Assembly of Nobility. The crown has already concealed the noble lords once, allowing the customary course of the case to be abandoned in favor of the question of the guardsmen. The lords have barely finished apologizing for what followed. The crown shall now consider dispute with which the lords have approached the crown. We understand that the young nobles died under ambiguous circumstances. We also understand that no father will easily accept his child's guilt. Which is why I'm beginning to fear that this case may not have had a happy ending. Do I have the ability to reconcile them? Me? Probably not. Especially since for each of them, their child is a victim. Our guests, as both lords, now wish to present their versions of the events of what happened when the door to the room was opened. The crown is ready to hear one at a time. Lord de Capel shall speak first. Lord de Monte will follow afterwards. Okay. Side of the story. Alright, let's go with this guy first. To her own demise, my daughter trusted De Monte and went to meet him upstairs. That is where he planned to poison her. However, Juliana caught the thug red-handed as he secretly tried to poison her cup, and then she must have knocked the bottle out of his hand and broke it. Oh, and we get to see some action! She alerted me and the poisoner's father with her screaming. In response, the enraged De Monte rushed at her and stabbed her with his dagger. We began banging on the door with the Lord de Monte. Hearing this, in order to act like a common coward, he drank his own poison to avoid punishment. Okay, so that's one account that could have happened. A theory, at least. Side of the story. Alright, here we go. It was Juliana de Capel who, with her deceitful charm, seduced my son and persuaded him to meet in the empty room. The succubus had achieved her goal. My son is dead. The witch managed to outwit him and handed him a poison cup. Roman trusted her. He did not expect anything. As my boy was dying, Juliana demonstrated her pride. The devil woman surely began to taunt the dying man, revealing her plan to him. With the last of his strength, Roman took out his dagger and swung at the murderess. Startled, she screamed and dropped the bottle, which then shattered. Wait, then why would he, like, go backwards to stab her? That's weird. That's a weird way to, like, stab somebody. This is exactly what I feared. Both versions sound equally plausible. Which is the truth, though? Thank you, noble lords, for sharing your suspicions. How do I tell them that both are the child in one and both could be the murderer? Your Royal Highness, we await the verdict. Yes, Your Royal Highness, we await it. Unneedly.
Silence!
Noble lords, we remind you that you had come to the crown for justice, not for all ill-considered conclusions. Princess Adela is your future monarch. Show proper respect. Your future king knows the advice that should be taken before every important decision. You should better focus on rushing it, but on making your own way to the board of advisors. Well said, Your Majesty, indeed. Though we are sure what should be done, we always listen attentively to your wise counsel. I don't know what to do, Daddy. That's me. I don't know what to do either. It's simple. Pick one version and discredit the other. What? But just like that, without reasoning arbitrarily, it's mockery from memory of the dead. You won't convince the discredited party, but you can denounce them in the eyes of the nation. That makes you that way you make them a scapegoat. A family gave birth to a murderer. But I don't know which party is telling the truth. I don't know which family gave birth to an honorless murderer. You can always repeat the scenario from the centuries ago, so that you don't know who the murderer is. Ambiguous word is playing the blame game. You'll behave with integrity and helplessness in the face of the further bloodshed that will follow. When I watched you, everything seemed simpler. You always found a common ground in these situations. You found them and brought about a settlement. Comparing the parties' statements, finding those common settlements points, selecting the options, confirm the settlement. Okay. They are not dutiful guards. The lords are feuding, and in the eyes, you are a child under my protection, a princess, a girl. By supporting one party, you will earn the support here and maybe later for another issue. If you refuse to do that, you can only count on one of them. The successor counting on their predecessors, no successor at all. And what about the duty to determine what happened? What about justice? Justice doesn't always prevail. Damn, so we just have to take a wild guess? I mean, at this point, we kind of do. Should I trample someone who just suffered a loss because there's no other way to resolve this dispute? And what if there is? What then? And what if I find a common ground like you? I'll compare the statements from both parties and find what the common settlement point, and in the eyes of the lords, you will do it as a girl playing the king. Girl or not, these stubborn men will not take back their own words. All I must do is find the issue on which they agree. Oh, but they agree on many things after all. They accept the number of evidence. Roman was killed by poison and Juliana from the dagger. Except it doesn't change anything. I'll find something else, obviously. Your Royal Highness, you are dealing with quarreling children. Let's see if you can handle it as smoothly as your own king. Only my king conveniently managed to avoid this kind of problem. I don't think I should follow in his footsteps here. Indeed, you should not. Noble lords, after listening to His Majesty's advice, your princess is ready to listen to you again. There must be something there. Something to discover what really happened. Okay guys, that was a quick run through of Court of Crowns. Obviously there's more to this demo, and so far I really enjoyed the different elements that you have. It does put a lot of pressure on you to like pay attention and also like make sure you're picking the right answers, because you are playing the part of judge even though we have no idea what we're doing. But I do like that there's different elements, and also the choices that I make about Adela changes her personality and how she perceives people. Like I was picking the bad choices for her, but she kind of sounds very judgmental. So that was kind of my fault. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this playthrough. Please let me know in the comments what you think, and thank you once again to Placeholder Name Studio for sponsoring this video. If you guys would like to learn more about this game or to check out the demo itself, please check the link in the description to do that. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye!